Welcome to the Hidden Truth Stories channel. Today, we're diving deep into an unexplored historical mystery. The dusty, wind-scoured plains of southeastern Turkey, near the city of Şanlıurfa, hold a secret so profound it has forced archaeologists to rewrite the entire timeline of human civilization, a secret known simply as Göbekli Tepe, the Potbelly Hill, a name utterly inadequate for the monumental, staggering implications of what lies beneath its unassuming mound. This is where our story begins, in the relentless, golden light of the Mesopotamian sunrise, casting long, stark shadows across a landscape that has seen the birth and death of empires, yet none so ancient, none so inexplicable as the one now being painstakingly uncovered, layer by layer, revealing not just a structure, but an intention, a cosmic yearning carved into stone 10,000 years before the pyramids, 7,000 years before Stonehenge. Long before humanity was supposed to have abandoned the nomadic hunter-gatherer life for settled agriculture, Dr. Aris Thorne, an American archaeologist with a reputation for both brilliance and a stubborn refusal to accept easy answers, stood at the edge of the deepest excavation pit, his face etched with the dry heat and the profound weight of time. The narrative establishes the setting, the extraordinary antiquity of Göbekli Tepe, and introduces the protagonist, Dr. Aris Thorne, setting a tone of profound historical mystery. Aris's focus was not just on the visible T-shaped pillars each weighing up to 60 tons, and adorned with complex, stylized carvings of foxes, boars, vultures, and spiders, but on the unnervingly uniform layer of intentional backfill the deliberate act of burial that had preserved this site for 12 millennia, an act that felt less like abandonment and more like a sacred sealing. A careful tucking away of a powerful truth for a time when the world was ready to listen. Aris had spent 5 years on this unforgiving hill, 5 years of chasing whispers in the stone, whispers that spoke not of simple gathering places, but of a complex, sophisticated spiritual culture, a culture organized enough to transport and erect these megaliths without the aid of metal tools, organized labor, or even basic pottery, suggesting that contrary to conventional historical wisdom, it was the need for worship and community that drove settlement, not the need for food and farming, a reversal of cause and effect that shook the very foundations of anthropological theory. The focus shifts to the key enigma, the deliberate burial, and the site's function as a pre-agricultural temple, challenging established historical timelines. The current focus of his team, a small, dedicated group including the Turkish epigrapher Alara and the German geologist Kai, was on Enclosure D*, the largest and most intricately decorated circle, where the two massive central T-pillars stood like silent 30-foot sentinels, facing each other across the millennia, their abstract, stylized forms suggesting not just posts, but anthropomorphic figures, perhaps priests, perhaps deities, perhaps both, wearing carved belts and loincloths, watching over the sacred space. Ilara, whose expertise lay in deciphering archaic symbols, had identified a recurring, complex motif on the base of the western central pillar, a series of **, 7 dots enclosed within a sweeping crescent asterisk, a symbol that bore a chilling resemblance to astronomical records much later in history, suggesting not just observation of the night sky, but a sophisticated understanding of celestial mechanics, or perhaps a memory of an event long past. A stellar catastrophe witnessed by these pre-agricultural people. The narrative zeroes in on the specific archaeological site, Enclosure D, and the discovery of the cryptic astronomical symbol, raising the intellectual stakes. Kai, meanwhile, was obsessed with the pillar's composition, his readings detecting faint but unmistakable traces of quartz crystal embedded within the limestone matrix, meticulously placed not naturally, but deliberately mixed into the stone during the quarrying and carving process. A detail so technologically advanced and spiritually loaded, quartz is piezoelectric, that it suggested the builders were attempting to harness or amplify some form of natural energy, making the temple a giant, passive receiver or transmitter, a concept far removed from simple cave painting shamanism. Aris, synthesizing these observations, felt the familiar tightening in his chest, the sensation of standing on the very precipice of a momentous, undeniable discovery that would go far beyond merely adjusting a timeline, hinting instead at a forgotten human lineage, a source of knowledge that predated the Great Flood myths and the rise of Sumer, a true mother civilization whose sophistication was masked by its utter lack of physical technology as we define it, relying instead on a profound understanding of natural materials and cosmic forces. The tone intensifies with the revelation of embedded quartz, shifting the interpretation of the temple from spiritual center to a form of sophisticated, energy-harnessing machine. His attention was continually pulled to the intentional burial of the site, the enormous effort expended to gently inter and protect the structures, a deliberate act that spoke of reverence and a final, permanent choice. Why build a temple requiring years of communal effort only to meticulously bury it? The conventional theory posited that the site was simply abandoned, slowly covered by dust, but the uniform backfill, composed of tons of painstakingly placed gravel and soil, argued vehemently against passive desertion. Arar, the grizzled local foreman, whose family had lived on this land for generations, had told Aris a local legend, a quiet story passed down through the centuries, speaking of the *Tufan*, the Great Deluge *, and of wise people who received a terrible warning from the pillars of the sky and chose to put their sanctuary to sleep, protecting it from the wrath of the rising waters and the inevitable chaos that followed. A deliberate act of historical preservation, a sacrifice of the present for the sake of the distant future. The narrative explores the why of the burial, introducing the local flood myth and the theory that the temple was intentionally preserved against a coming catastrophe. This legend galvanized Aris, confirming his suspicion that the structures were not buried because they were obsolete, but because they were too precious, too dangerous, or too vital to be exposed to the coming change. Their purpose fulfilled only when they ceased to be used, their true function being to transmit a final message during the time of catastrophe perhaps a final astronomical alignment before the deluge changed the sky forever, making Göbekli Tepe less a temple and more a time capsule, a celestial clock set to the year 10,000 BC. Driven by this new conviction, Aris directed the team to focus their ground-penetrating radar on the central space between the two largest T-pillars in enclosure D***, theorizing that if the site was a repository of knowledge, the most sacred and secure spot, the asterisk locus of the entire complex, would hold the key to the builder's motives, the heart of the sealed history. The focus sharpens into a specific, targeted search based on the time capsule theory, looking for a core repository beneath the central pillars. The GPR scans came back startlingly clear. A perfectly formed, non-geological anomaly lay 20 feet beneath the packed earth, a rectangular chamber unlike anything else detected on the site, suggesting a vault or a final resting place. A deep secret held fast by the overwhelming tonnage of the intentional backfill. The realization that this might be the actual, physical end of the Göbekli Tepe mystery, the culmination of the builder's sacrifice, sent a ripple of hushed anticipation through the entire team, their excitement tempered by the profound respect due to such antiquity. The excavation of the area required extreme precision, months of painstaking work using specialized tools to remove the dense, 12-millennium-old layers of fill without disturbing the sensitive, still unknown structure below. A slow, meticulous act of unburying that felt like archaeology stripped down to its purest, most devotional form. The discovery of the subsurface anomaly elevates the tension, leading to a long, careful excavation phase that is described as a near-devotional act. Finally, after weeks of careful digging, a thin, perfectly horizontal seam of polished black stone, impossibly smooth and unnaturally dark against the ochre limestone, was revealed, forming the roof of the buried chamber, a seal of a material unlike any other quarried in the region, suggesting it was brought from a great distance, or perhaps synthesized using lost methods. Kai, running a spectrometer reading on the black stone, his voice a low, excited murmur, confirmed that the material was a form of crystalline basalt treated to achieve an almost mirror-like finish, a process that would require temperatures and pressure far beyond the capabilities attributed to a Neolithic society, further reinforcing the idea of a sophisticated, forgotten technology at the core of the temple's construction. The vault was perfectly sealed, a deliberate, final choice by the builders, and the only way in was through a single, small, geometrically precise aperture located near the center of the black slab. A tiny keyhole that perfectly matched the recurring 7-dot crescent symbol Ilara had been tracking on the pillar bases, demanding a physical key that no one possessed, necessitating a moment of profound stasis in their relentless forward progress. The discovery of the vault lid and its advanced material, crystalline basalt, deepens the technological mystery and halts the team at a sealed, cryptic lock. Days turned into a week of agonizing deliberation. The team huddled around the black slab, the air heavy with unfulfilled potential, the silent chamber beneath them holding its breath. Aris, frustrated by the impasse, began to study the 7-dot symbol again, tracing its lines in the dust, the recurring image a constant, silent challenge. He noticed something no one had seen before. The pattern was not etched but composed of 7 small, shallow depressions, almost like very small cup marks, arranged geometrically, and an idea, audacious and born of exhaustion and intuition, struck him. The vault didn't require a key, but a signature a momentary return to the temple's original, intended state. Referencing Kai's analysis of the quartz inclusions and Ilara's celestial observations, Aris hypothesized that the aperture was designed to be activated only by the alignment of specific natural forces, possibly piezoelectric energy and light. The temple's dormant function temporarily revived. The tone shifts from stalled frustration to a burst of intuitive insight, leading to the hypothesis that the lock requires a natural, energetic key, not a metallic one. He directed the team to gather 7 small, naturally formed quartz crystals found scattered on the hill, remnants of the builder's original supply, and to place 1 in each of the 7 depressions, creating a circuit. As the last crystal clicked into place, the polished black basalt slab began to emit the faintest possible hum, the frequency barely perceptible, a sound that vibrated not in the ears, but in the deepest parts of the body, a gentle, soothing, yet immensely powerful thrumming that intensified slowly, filling the entire enclosure. Then, precisely as the midday sun reached its zenith a single blinding shaft of golden light, concentrated and focused by the atmosphere's natural lensing effects, struck the center of the crescent symbol. The the sun and the whisper converging, and the black basalt seal, without any grinding or mechanical noise, instantaneously vaporized, dissolving into a puff of light and dust, revealing the opening to the vault below, a silent, breathtaking demonstration of a lost mastery over matter and energy, a technology achieved through what seemed like pure spiritual understanding. The climax involves the ceremonial activation of the seal using quartz and sunlight, culminating in the instantaneous vaporization of the lock, revealing the ultimate secret. The air that rushed up from the newly opened chamber was clean and cool, smelling faintly of ozone and dry parchment, a breath from the deep past. Aris was the first to descend, lowering himself into the darkness, his headlamp beam cutting through the gloom, revealing a space that was not a burial vault or a crypt, but a small, perfectly square room, its walls lined with the same dark, polished basalt, the ceiling shimmering faintly with embedded, uncut diamonds that captured and scattered the light. The room was almost empty, save for a single waist-high pedestal standing in the center, upon which rested a single artifact. Not gold, not jade, but a simple, unadorned asterisk sphere of perfectly clear, crystalline material, pulsing with an inner, steady white light that seemed to draw all sound and movement to itself. This was the truth they had buried, the heart of the first temple, not a ritual object, but an asterisk storage device asterisk, a cosmic flash drive left for the future. The vault is revealed, shifting the focus to the central artifact, the crystalline sphere, and its true function as a data archive. As Aris reached out and touched the cool, smooth surface of the sphere, his mind was instantly flooded, not with images, but with pure data asterisk, a torrent of non-verbal, complex information that detailed not just the astronomical event that triggered their final protective burial, a devastating comet impact, but the entirety of their culture's understanding of the cosmos, a profound lesson in harmonic resonance, self-sustaining energy, and genetic engineering, proving they were not fleeing a lack of food, but protecting their knowledge from the coming chaos, intending for it to be found only when human consciousness had evolved enough to comprehend it. The builders had constructed Göbekli Tepe as a beacon, a final, physical archive meant to survive the impending cataclysm, embedding their wisdom in the very stones, and sealing the ultimate truth in the central sphere, a legacy of light preserved through 12 millennia of darkness, proving that the earliest human impulse was not survival, but the asterisk preservation of knowledge asterisk for the long arc of civilization, a trust placed in the distant future. The narrative concludes the internal experience, revealing the builder's true motive, preservation against catastrophe, making the temple a testament to human foresight. The sheer volume of information was overwhelming, flooding Elia's consciousness with a sense of dizzying perspective, realizing that humanity was not climbing the ladder of knowledge, but rediscovering what was lost. As quickly as the flash of data arrived, it receded, leaving behind a core understanding. The builder's final act was a message of cyclical history, a warning that the celestial events that forced their sealing would return. The crystalline sphere's light began to dim, a low, ominous flicker that resonated with the return of the deep, pervasive humming throughout the site. Only this time the sound was not soothing but strained, a monumental energy source winding down. The temple mechanism, having shared its secret, was preparing to permanently lock itself away, perhaps forever. Aris, instinctively understanding the limited window of safety, carefully lifted the crystalline sphere from the pedestal, the weight surprisingly negligible, and quickly ascended the ladder, emerging from the vault just as the black basalt seal, reformed and polished, snapped back into place with a sharp, resonant thud, the keyhole aperture vanishing completely, leaving the slab smooth and impenetrable once more. The climax resolves with a final action sequence. The data transfer concludes, the warning of a cyclical threat is imparted, and Aris grabs the sphere just before the vault permanently reseals. The chamber was instantly, irrevocably sealed beneath the earth, the builder's secret once again protected. Lena and Kai watched in silent shock, the enormity of the event, the instantaneous appearance and disappearance of the vault, the presence of the pulsing sphere, leaving them breathless, their scientific skepticism utterly annihilated by the undeniable reality of the demonstration. The air above the mound was now silent, the midday sun still high, but the entire landscape felt different, imbued with the monumental weight of the shared secret, the profound realization that they now held the literal key to a lost golden age. Aris looked out across the arid plains, the simple mound now appearing as the crown of the world, the quiet truth of 10,000 BC pulsing in his hands, realizing that the discovery of Göbekli Tepe was not the end of a mystery, but the beginning of an asterisk responsibility asterisk, the guardianship of the first temple's truth entrusted to the new age, a profound promise kept across the abyss of time. The story concludes on a note of awe and responsibility, emphasizing the finality of the sealing and the immense significance of the artifact now held by the team. This mysterious journey ends here, but stay tuned for more untold stories in our next video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new stories. Thank you, and see you again.